Leave me alone, I don't wanna talk anymore. On my phone, baby, I don't want to adore you. No, just keep the Glock in the car, we get out on you, Lord. I've been living so wrong up in this world.
Alright, man, been struggling over here. I've had no internet access at all, no internet access at all. Been struggling getting videos up. Honestly, been struggling to watch any kind of YouTube at all. So, either way, very good weekend for boxing, obviously. Friday, we had Misfits 06. Saturday, we had the Kingpyn tournament, round 1. And Saturday night, we had Ryan Garcia versus Tank Davis. They were all entertaining. Gonna go through some of the key fights, right? Not every single one of them, or we'd be here all day. But yeah, man, we're gonna start on Friday. Misfits 06, Waleed Sharks versus who did he fight? Some comedian guy. I don't know. He was. So I don't know. Waleed Sharks knocks him out in round 2. He probably could have done it in 1. Next fight for Waleed has to be Dean. I think they said Dean gets one more fight. Dean the Great will get one more fight. Dean the Great will get one more fight before Waleed, and then it's on between the two. We're all hyped for that, right? That's got to be its own thing. Own main event. It gets heated anytime those two cross paths. So definitely going to be its own main event. Waleed Sharks versus Dean the Great. So yeah. So to me, it's pretty obvious that's going to be its own main event. After that, man, we had Chris Avila versus Paul Bamba. And a lot of you guys were hyping up Paul Bamba to be this upcoming greatest boxer of all time. And he just showed nothing. Let's be real. In fact, he showed a lot of unsportsmanlike conduct in that ring, my boy. It got heated between them as well. Guys didn't respect each other at all going into that fight. It is what it is. Chris Avila wins the fight. I'm a big Chris Avila fan, so we'll keep it at that. Shout out Chris Avila. Yeah, Chris Avila beats Paul Bamba, and Paul Bamba didn't look as good as everyone thought he would, or everyone said he would at least. So shout out Chris Avila. First little bit of actual boxing we got on a Misfits card, right? I know we've had Idris Virgo and Salt Poppy and maybe a couple more pros you could name, Anthony Taylor. But other than that, man, Chris Avila and Paul Bamba, some of the most technical boxing we've seen on a Misfits card, unless I'm just not remembering. But yeah, man, shout out to both of them. And we'll see where they go next. Last on the Misfits card, obviously the main event, JMX, Le'Veon Bell. I told everyone Le'Veon Bell was going to win this fight fairly easily, and he did. Did he win all rounds? I'm not sure. If he lost any, it was just one. He won 3 or 4 rounds of that fight. So, like I said, Le'Veon Bell was going to win that fight. Yeah, man, it could be Le'Veon Bell and Logan Paul next. You know what I'm saying? I think Le'Veon Bell deserves it. As far as I know, Le'Veon Bell's only had 3 fights. He looks good. Very awkward stance. You know, he looks like a real-life Ninja Turtle, but shout out to Le'Veon Bell. Yeah, man, shout out to Le'Veon Bell. I hope he gets the fight with Logan Paul. I really do. I think that'll be a good matchup. Anyone hopping on Logan Paul's back like he's the greatest of all time, you might want to watch out, man. Le'Veon Bell's not a joke. Both are very, very athletic. Obviously, Le'Veon Bell is an NFL football player, but it would still be highly entertaining. I think Le'Veon Bell could beat him, right? But, of course, Logan Paul headband writers are going to say something else, but we'll see. We'll see what happens, man. I hope Le'Veon Bell gets a big fight next. JMX obviously has some stuff to work on. People were making fun of him because he had Coach Richard in his corner. If you don't know who Coach Richard is, it's the guy who JMX beat a couple of years ago. The guy he beat is now the guy who's coaching him, which at first you may say, oh, it doesn't make any sense. Why would you let someone you already beat coach you? You're not learning anything. Like I said, that would make sense at first, but then when you think about it, didn't Apollo Creed help Rocky against, what's his name? Mr. T, Clubber Lang. Apollo Creed helped Rocky, trained Rocky to beat Clubber Lang, and y'all over here saying he can't learn nothing from Coach Richard. His name's Coach Richard. I'm sure he has something to teach. Anyway, JMX does have something to work on. Maybe getting a new coach would help. We'll see what he does. I hope to see JMX back. He's just got a lot to work on and a lot to learn, man. Now on to the Kingpyn tournament. Shout out Elle Brooke. She won her fight against one of the tallest women I've ever seen. I'm joking. She was only like, what, 5'9" or something like that. Shout out to Elle Brooke, though. She got it done. And her sister won as well. Nobody cares. No offense, but we just don't care. Elle Brooke gets it done, though. She's the one that everyone follows in the women's boxing scene. At least in the influencer scene. So shout out Elle Brooke for getting it done. Yeah, man, we'll see what she does next. The Jarvis fight actually surprised me. We all expected Jarvis to win, but Tom Zanetti's no joke. He has power. He hits hard. If you all seen it, you know what happened. Tom Zanetti got to the third round. Tom Zanetti was winning, and he just threw the towel in. He was so tired, and his hits weren't doing nothing to Jarvis. Jarvis was just walking through him, and it just wasn't affecting him. Now, I personally think if Tom Zanetti could have just held on for another 2 rounds, or was it another 1 round? It was round 3 or 4. He threw the towel in. If Tom Zanetti would have just hung on, man, he would have won the fight because he was winning on cards. At least if you ask me, right? Obviously, I'm not a judge, but if you ask me, he was winning that fight. More volume, he was landing more. Yeah, man, I think Tom Zanetti could have won that fight if he would have just held on, but it is what it is. Jarvis had a nice plan. He knew what Tom Zanetti was coming to do. He was just going to let him wear himself out by throwing them hits, and he did. And he threw the towel in. Shout out Jarvis. He knew what he was doing, man. I know his face hurts today. I know his face is hurting, bro. I saw his face after the fight. Shout out Jarvis, though. Man can take some punches, so I hate that for Zanetti. I hate that he had to look weak like that, throwing in the towel. Maybe he can pick something back up and carry on. I do feel bad. I hate that he had to go out like that looking weak. But it is what it is, man. It's the fight game. You got to do what you got to do, man. Shout out Jarvis. Obviously, now the main event. Nissan Gibb beats Austin McBroom for the second time. He wins the rematch. Shout out Gibb. And obviously, we all knew Nissan Gibb was winning this fight. Anyone with any kind of intelligence knew that Nissan Gibb was winning the rematch. Shout out to Austin McBroom, right? I have no hate towards him. Yeah, I mean, shout out. Anyone that gets in the ring deserves some kind of respect. So shout out to Austin. But yeah, I knew Nissan Gibb was winning this fight. Obvious as day. He didn't knock him out. Austin McBroom apparently broke his ankle in the middle of the fight, which sucks, right? You never want to see that. You want both guys to finish the fight, unless you just want to see someone get knocked out, which I guess is normal for boxing fans. But health-wise, I don't want to see anyone get battered. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Austin McBroom. I hope he heals up quick. I do want to see him back in the ring. Like I said, if he takes the time and actually commits to boxing, I think he can be good. Gibbs just on a completely different level right now, man, and it's not even close. Anyone that wants to beat Gibbs is going to actually have to commit to boxing right now. Who does Gibbs face next? Jarvis? See, that's an example. Jarvis is committed to boxing. I think this will be a good fight coming up. I do think Nissan Gibb wins, but we'll go on from there later. Shout out to Nissan Gibb for getting it done against Austin McBroom. And we'll see what happens, man. Jarvis versus Gibb in June, I believe. Yeah, man. Now, the fight we've all been waiting for. Ryan Garcia versus Gervonta Tank Davis. I did pick Tank Davis. Just throwing that out there. I knew he was going to win. Yeah. For all the people that say I know nothing about sports or nothing about boxing, take that, you losers. You literally thought Ryan Garcia was winning this fight. What an amateur. Ryan Garcia did show up ready to fight, you know what I'm saying? Tank obviously hit him with a nice body shot there in the 7th round to put it away, which sucks to see, obviously. You want to see these guys get in there and throw down the whole entire fight, let it come down to the end. But it didn't. Tank puts it away in the 7th round, which I was fine with. Like I said Gervonta Davis was winning this fight, and he did. So, also, DAZN. I don't hate you. I don't hate DAZN. Obviously, I watch all the fights on DAZN, but you got to fix your problem, man. I ordered the fight on my iPhone. Couldn't watch it on my iPhone, so I had to sign in on my Android, and finally I was able to watch it, but I was pretty mad. $60 for that fight, $20 to log into DAZN. Like, that's $80. Let me watch the fight on my iPhone, bro. Come on. Everyone wants iPhone this and iPhone that. Screw Android. Okay, well, I watched an $80 fight on my Android because DAZN has problems. And again, I understand, right? Multiple people at the same time buying the fight. It gets complicated. It's online. It's not always going to be perfect. But so yeah, something's got to do. Something's got to do. We'll see what happens, man. I said Tank was gonna win. It was a good fight to watch. I hate that it ended so early, but I did call it. Gervonta Tank Davis on top. I did call it by knockout. I didn't pick a round, but I knew he was gonna win. Yes, sir. So yeah, man, that was this weekend's boxing events, sporting events. I wasn't able to do no videos because, like I said, I had no internet access at all. So I wasn't able to upload anything, barely able to watch anything. And if you're asking how I watched any of those fights, well, they were very low quality. Let's just keep it real. Yeah, man, it wasn't the same as actually enjoying it. But, I mean, I was able to enjoy it, but you know what I'm saying. 480p quality versus 1060p quality or whatever. Totally different. But either way, I enjoyed myself and had fun. That's why I did this big video here, because I wasn't able to do no short videos over the weekend. But y'all let me know, man, what y'all thought of this weekend's boxing events. And on to the next, man. Yes, sir.